Okay, on number 10, this is just what you need to know. Know the rules for when 0 is in the numerator versus when 0 is in the denominator. And what you need to do to make it equal to 0, undefined, etc. So a really good reference problem for this, you guys, I'm going to write it in a different color, how about orange, is in section 1-6, number 60. And I looked at everybody's number 60 and commented about it or something. So this is really, really a good problem that you might want to look at to practice this. Maybe try it again and look at my answer key to check your work. Anyway, so the gist of it is, if x is in the numerator, that's okay. So x over y will equal 0 if x is equal to 0. But what cannot happen is y cannot be equal to 0, because if y was equal to 0, then it's undefined. So that brings me to the next point. If x over y is undefined, then that means the only thing that has to happen is that y is equal to 0. It doesn't even matter what x is. It really doesn't, because the y as 0 will overpower anything. Okay? All right. Number 11, know how to be able to prove something is true using properties and prove something is false by providing counter examples. Okay, so remember, true, if something's true, you use properties. And if something is false, I should use red. If something is false, you use a counter example. So that's when you plug in a number. The trick is with counter examples, we want to avoid 0 and 1. Okay? And again, this is in the 1 for notes and homework. And this is not one of the handouts that you got. It's just one of the extra problems that I did. So you probably have it on the back or in your notebook or something. All right, number 12, review quiz 1, answer key. It is posted now. It's right underneath the quiz, okay? Other resources for extra practice problems are your workbook. This is what we talked about in class on Tuesday and Thursday. Again, all the answers are posted. You can also do the chapter review and the chapter test, okay? All right, and then finally, so this is everything that we've done so far, and then the last lesson you guys did was conversion factors. So that's what number 14 is about. So we're converting from feet to yards. What you need to know is, well, how many feet are in a yard? And conversion factor for this is 3 feet equals 1 yard. If I want to change feet to yards, I'm going to take 60 feet and I'm going to multiply it by some conversion factor. My goal is to be left with yards, so I'm going to put yards on top, and I want to cross out. I want the feet to cancel out. Okay, so that's why I'm putting feet in the denominator. All right, then I'm going to have, okay, there's 3 feet, so 3 needs to go with the feet per 1 yard. All right, then I just multiply. So let's see, that's 60 over 1 times 1 over 3. Well, 60 times 1 is 60. Over 1 times 3 is 3. I know this is going to be in yards. 60 divided by 3 is 20 yards. All right, part B, letter B, 2,076 centimeters in yards. Okay, so that one we would need the conversion factor for centimeters to yards. So I need to know how many centimeters are in a yard. All right. So it looks like, here we go. The conversion factor we would want to use is that there are 91.44 centimeters in 1 yard. Okay. And then when we do that, we're going to do, okay, I'm taking my centimeters, 2,076 centimeters, and I'm going to multiply it by the conversion factor. I want centimeters on the bottom because I want to cancel them out, which means I'm going to be left with yards on top so that I have them left over. So that centimeters and centimeters cancel out. Okay, 91.44 centimeters per 1 yard. Now I just multiply, or I guess you could say divide. All right. And when you divide 2076 by 91.44, these ones you would be able to use a calculator for, you'd get approximately 22.7 yards. Okay. Letter C, 3 miles into feet. So, and you need to know another conversion factor, and this one actually I think we should know. Miles to feet. So the conversion factor for miles to feet is that in 1 mile, there are 5,280 feet. So we're going to start with writing our original amount, 3 miles. I'm going to multiply by my conversion factor. And I want miles on the bottom so that I'm able to cancel them out. And I want to be left with feet on the top so that I know how many feet there are in 3 miles. So then I write out my conversion factor. Well, there's 1 mile for every 5,280 feet. Okay, and then I just multiply. Well, I'm going to write this as a fraction because I think it's easier to multiply 2 fractions. And I would just be doing 3 times 5,280. And when I do that, I'm going to get 15,840 feet in 3 miles. All right, this one we're converting a rate. So this one is going to be like twice as many conversions. So we're going to start with gallons, and we're going to change gallons to quarts, and seconds to minutes. So there's 2 things going on here. First conversion factor you need to know is that there are 4 quarts in 1 gallon. The other one you need to know is that there are 60 seconds in 1 minute. Then from there we can make our conversion factors. So starting with 14 gallons in 1, I know it says per second, but that means there's 1 second. And let's go ahead and start with changing gallons to quarts. Okay, so I'm going to multiply by my conversion factor that allows me to do that. I want gallons on the bottom so that these can cancel out. And I want quarts on the top so that I'm left with quarts. Okay, so I have 4 quarts per 1 gallon. Okay, and then from here I'm just going to go ahead and multiply. 14 times 4 is 40, 56 quarts per 1 second. Okay, that's my new rate. Now I need to take this and I need to change seconds into minutes. So I have a whole other conversion factor to multiply by. So I'm going to multiply by seconds over minutes. And 60 seconds is the same as 1 minute. Then I'm going to go ahead and cancel out seconds and seconds. And then I multiply straight across. So I need to do 56 times 60. And 56 times 60 will be 3,360 quarts. And that is in 1 minute. So 3,360 quarts per minute. Okay, and then last one, 25 miles per hour to meters per minute. Okay, again, I'm going to start with, or maybe I should first figure out how many meters in a mile. I need both of those conversion rates. So first one, there are 1,609 meters in 1 mile. And then I need to convert hours to minutes. So second conversion factor, well, I know there are 60 minutes in 1 hour. So that's going to be my second conversion factor. All right, so let me write out the original amount, 25 miles per 1 hour. And I need to change meters to minutes. So, I'm sorry. Yeah, meters per minute. So we can either start with miles or we can start with hours. And I can see here that, well, okay, let's go ahead and start with miles just because that one comes first. So we're going to have miles on the bottom because I want to be able to cancel those out. And I want meters on top because I want those left over. So there's 1,609 meters per 1 mile. So I would have to actually multiply that out. So 1,609 times 25. And that gets us 40,225 meters per 1 hour. Now the next thing I need to change is I need to change hours to minutes, okay? So I have to use this conversion factor. Now hours are on the bottom and I want to cancel them out, so I'm going to put them at the top so that hours cancels with hours. And I want to have minutes on the bottom, so I'm going to write that there. Then there's 1 hour per every 60 minutes, all right? Then I go ahead and divide, or I can do 40,225 times 1 over 1 times 60. In other words, you're just dividing. And you would get 670 approximately. Yeah, approximately 670.6 meters per minute. That's it. All right, if you have any questions about anything, you want to make sure you ask before Monday. So ask on Thursday or ask on Friday. Good luck.